Yes.
Okay, sounds good. Yes, we're going to give it a couple more minutes, wait for everyone else to intervene into the class. Should be 10 or 11, so more people to get in, then we can get the class started. If there's any questions any of you had before we get the class started, we can go over that as well. Any questions about the last class, the last session we had, or any questions in general, we can get that out the way for you.
Yeah, I wrote it down, but I don't know where I put it. I don't know if it was you or someone who said before, there's something you can use to like get followers quickly. Like, I don't know if it was like the first 1,000 followers or something. Do you know anything about that on TikTok?
You mean like fabricated followers, you say?
Well, yeah, so you can like put the link in your bio.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was you or somebody in the class when, I don't know if it was last time or before, gave us a program or a link or something we could use to just get like to that first 1,000 really quickly. Do you know what that is? Because I don't remember.
I'm not 100% sure on a specific link that can get you 1,000 followers. There's a couple ways you can get 1,000 followers fast. One, of course, being organic marketing, building up a social presence around whatever product or whatever niche of categories or products you look to sell. But of course, when it comes to the link, you could also set up an Instagram account for your brand and have that link to your TikTok page. That way, so for instance, you have maybe a video or some content that went viral, you could have link in my Instagram bio, and that way they could drive traffic towards Instagram and have the link inside the Instagram bio.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
That could be an option, but as far as the getting to 1,000 quick, maybe like buying followers, I have seen that in the past, but the followers do disappear. I haven't seen a follower program or service that sticks well in terms of reliability, as well as in terms of the it's not really organic, it's like bots. So
Right.
TikTok definitely can detect that, so they get rid of the bots over the next couple of weeks or so. So at whatever you were at before that, that's probably where you're going to be at once they sift through the followers on your page. But yes, as far as followers, I believe it messes with your algorithm as well, so I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Any other questions anyone in the chat may have before we get started?
Oh, so when can we get the last lecture recorded video?
Yes, that wasn't sent out to you all.
Yeah, I typed. Yeah, I leave my email address, but
okay. I'll send it in the chat right now. That way you can get the direct link.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. See, we got the link 6 days ago. Share. Okay, so those of you all who also didn't get the recap for the last class, it will be in the link. I mean, it's gonna be in the chat.
Okay.
All right, so give it to about 7:10 before we get started with the class. Just give it a little bit of extra time for any extra couple. It's supposed to be, I would say, 10-15 more people.
Well, this is just a general question. I saw Hancho had posted a video about his first jewelry store. I'm just curious, was that was drop shipping jewelry store?
Yes, yes. So we got started with jewelry. Those were the first couple of stores we came up with. That's what was really my bread and butter when it comes to what I got started in. Advertising on Facebook with jewelry brands, whether it's hip hop jewelry as well as like women's jewelry catered to towards maybe Mother's Day gifts, significant others gifts as well. Those are doing pretty well on Facebook, as well as the start of TikTok. Nowadays, I would say it definitely depends on, you know, what type of jewelry you're selling, but of course there is a decent amount of brands on, you know, across each platform, especially Instagram, that is selling jewelry. So I would say maybe customized jewelry or variations of jewelry specified to maybe a specific niche that could maybe sell well.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
What were you thinking about?
Well, I mean, they made me a home decor store, but I went back and forth between home decor and jewelry just because I don't wear much jewelry. I'm very like simple, but I know it sells. So I was like, I really wanted to do a jewelry store. Now I'm like, oh, I should have done jewelry, but I just really didn't know what type of jewelry to start off with. But I felt like jewelry, and I felt like jewelry with a profit margin. I felt like it was a little bit higher.
Yeah.
I saw a few stores, maybe like the luxury drip one. I was like, dang.
Yeah.
So I'm still thinking about doing jewelry anyway, but I was just wondering. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, definitely maybe in the future could definitely be an option. As you know, platforms arise in terms of the advertising platforms such as, you know, Snapchat is coming up as well as a big one. Pinterest is a good avenue to distribute traffic as well. Google SEO is always a good option. Getting free traffic from, you know, just having your store ranked on Google, definitely a good option as well. So in terms of, you know, free marketing as well as paid marketing, definitely, you know, a good amount of avenues you can use.
Right. Right.
So, for instance, say about a couple more minutes before we get started. Last class, we went over the TikTok campaigns, setting up those, the CBOs. It was the campaign budget optimizations. If you did miss that, you can check out the link in the chat. It will give you the access to the recap on June 8th last week. But yes, in today's class, we will be, you know, just discussing Google Ads, setting up maybe Google campaigns for your store, for your product, as well as, you know, analyzing how you can integrate SEO into your, excuse me, how you can integrate SEO into your website, into your product descriptions, as well as maybe into your ad copy. You know, that way you could get into that certain demographic of potential customers who are already interested in, you know, what you have to sell. So for instance, when it comes to SEO, meaning a search engine optimization, meaning you are optimizing your websites as well as your landing pages for customers to, you know, find your website or find your storefront based off of the key terms you have on your website. So for instance, I say for this website that we have, sample page, we have the waist trainer, obviously will be inside of the, you know, the health and wellness niche, maybe the home fitness niche. So disguising our website with, you know, key terms, whether that's inside of the product description as well as the, you know, the ad copy, can also, you know, get you free traffic towards your store. So for instance, we have the products. In order to integrate SEO into your store, if not already, most of the stores, if you had got the package, should be integrated already. But just to make sure, you can come over to, you know, whatever the product you're looking to integrate. For instance, come to the product listing. Under the product listing, scroll down to the bottom, you have the search engine listing. This is what your listing looks like on Google. So for instance, people were searching key terms based off what you are selling. This is what your search will look like on Google. For instance, you definitely want to have good descriptions, you know, good copy based off of, you know, persuading customers to, you know, click on your link. So for instance, you have maybe 100 words, 100 characters or so to, you know, explain, you know, what your product does, what your brand offers, as well as how your product is, you know, potentially convenient for them in order for them to, you know, click on your link. So of course, the goal is to get them to click on your link. If they don't click on your link, whatever's on your page doesn't matter because they didn't see it. So of course, having your search engine is one of the more, you know, beneficial, crucial parts of, you know, having your store. So for instance, hitting edit on that. So I have to rate real fast. Yeah, so of course, under the search engine listing, you have, for instance, the medical waist trainer, you want to have the title of your product. And that way it's no confusion once the customer gets to your landing page in terms of, you know, what's on Google as well as, you know, what's on your page. It just gets them confused, makes them go back to whatever they're doing, as well as maybe go to search out, you know, other listings. So when it comes to having your brand ranked on Google, making sure of course, the title is good as well as the description. It could be a short description based off of what specific product you are, offering. But you definitely want to keep it persuasive in terms of getting them to click on your link. So, for instance, we have a product that's offering weight loss. Excuse me. Product that is offering weight loss by transformation based off of the product we are offering. So of course we have the hula hoop, but it also functions as a a weighted hula hoop, meaning you lose and burn calories in the process. So for instance, we have for the description, time to drop the quarantine body and start crushing your goals. So this is something that maybe everyone could relate with. Everyone was in the quarantine together. Maybe, of course, some people maybe gain a little bit of weight. Of course, we have our product to promote for them in terms of using our product to get where you want to be in terms of your physique. So providing that transportation, providing that transformation from one point to another is how you can convert when it sells. So playing on those emotions as well as distributing that traffic towards your store will be crucial to converting on the sale. So for instance, time to drop the quarantine body and start crushing your goals, creating that imagery in their head based off of what your product offers. Meta Hoop Waist Trainer allows you to focus on burning off the extra calories anywhere, anytime, letting them know that it's portable. Wherever you go, you can have it with you. Exercise fun and effective ways of working out while burning up to 500 calories per session. It's giving them a guideline of what they can expect with the product. 500 calories per session. That can go a long way in terms of getting the physique they want, and customers know that. So cut off a little bit. But in terms of course, the meta description, having this set up for your product for each listing, is definitely crucial to having your product ranked on Google. Excuse me. So when it comes to understanding, which key terms, yes. So when it comes to understanding which key terms you can use for whether it's your SEO as well as your Google ads, one of the extinctions that I recommend, I'm not sure if I went over this in the last class, but the keywords everywhere. So if you go to the Chrome Google Web Store, keywords everywhere, allows you to detect search volume, analyze search volume based off of products you are searching on Google. So for instance, keywords everywhere. So adding this extension, to your Chrome Web Store and to your Chrome account will allow you to see the search volume based off of any term you search up. So having that activated, you may have to get a little bit of credits, but it's like $10 for like a year's worth of credits. It's pretty useful in terms of SEO as well. So for instance, let's say we're getting into the home fitness space. We have protein powder that we wanted to analyze, see how that's going. So for instance, if we were interested in key terms based off of protein powder, that niche that we offer, we can get a little bit more information based off of how it's moving. So, see, best protein powder for women, best protein powder for weight loss. Yeah, so in terms of the protein powders, key terms, long tail keywords. Okay. Yeah, so in terms of the long tail keywords are the keywords that have similar impact on what you were already searching. So for instance, integrated these could be a possible outlet of more traffic distributed to your store. So for instance, let's say you had a protein powder that you were selling on your site. Maybe you use protein powder, best protein powder vegan if you offer that. For instance, organic protein powder, vanilla protein powder. It would just be utilizing these different key terms to tap into different demographics based off of what you're selling. So for instance, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, so as I was saying, the keywords everywhere extension definitely could be useful for you in terms of the SEO, setting up your Google campaigns. You'll definitely need that. So for instance, Google ads.google is where your main base of where you'll be setting up your ads. For instance, Google Ads. It's pretty useful when it comes to having your products on Google. So for instance, if you search up products that you may be interested in, you have the sponsors tab. This is where your ad will show up if you are running Google Ads. I'll be showing you that in a couple of minutes, as well as how you can tap into SEO, as well as different demographics based off of what you're selling. Excuse me. Yes. So of course, once you have the once you have your stores live, if not live already, you want to make sure you have the Google Sales Channel app on your store. So for instance, Google and YouTube, you want to make sure that is integrated on your store as well. So for instance, once you come over to ads.google, you would have to set up a new account. If you haven't already, it will have you set up an ad account as well. Pretty straightforward. Setting up in terms of Google, just setting up the ad account. Right here, it would say add existing account or set up new account. So you will click the add new account in terms of the ad accounts. And once you have that set up, once you download the Google and YouTube app on your Shopify store, it would allow you to connect it. So for instance, you have your products approved. Great. So right here, it will usually say, set up marketing, set up Google marketing. It will have you link all your ad accounts, link up your Google account, as well as any additional information you may need, such as billing info. Just give me info about your business as well. So for instance, coming over to ads.google, setting up your new campaign would be the next step in order to get your campaigns live. So of course, when it comes to your campaign objective, that would be your process, your optimization event on what you want to do for your ad. So for instance, what type of traffic you want to distribute, as well as what your main goal behind your ad is. So of course, when it comes to e-commerce, sales would be the most, I would say, lucrative. Sales and website traffic when it comes to e-commerce, selling brands, as well as maybe product and brand consideration could be a good option as well. But I like to stick to sales. As I was saying in the last class, when it comes to fresh ad accounts, no ad spend on the pixel, you could go with website traffic. That way it doesn't disrupt the ad flow in terms of actually spending the money. So for today we'll have website traffic. Yes, and then next you have the campaign type. So of course, this is where your ads will show up. So there's a couple of different spots of where your ads could show up on Google to where you could have it displayed. So for instance, you have search. So search is where, for instance, you have, let me search up a key term or product. It will usually show up. It'll usually be the first few options. Excuse me. So usually be the first few options that says sponsored. It's not showing up because I have the keywords everywhere active. But yes, it would be the first few links. One of them that says sponsor, and then it would get to the original links of where you searched up. So the advertisers, people who are running ads behind what they're selling or whatever service they're looking to offer, they would have their ads up towards the top where it says prioritize or sponsored. That way you would know they're running ads behind it. So for instance, create ads, that is where search would be. So for instance, performance would be, a mix up of, all different campaign types you can use. You also have display. So display would be if you were on maybe a random website, and an ad would show up based off of what you searched up in the past. So for instance, if you had interest, maybe key terms within waist trainers, maybe a day or two later, you would be on a random website and a waist trainer will pop up on your feed, just on the website you're looking at. So for instance, Amazon's not a good option. Say, that might not be a good option as well. Okay, Okay, so as you'll see, usually maybe on like news websites or news outlets, you'll most likely see ads under the outlets or under the articles. Those are usually where your display ads will show. Let's see if I can find a good example. Say cleaning services. Find a good option right now. It's probably because I have my ad blocker on. That's probably the issue, to be honest. Sorry about that. Yeah, so if you have ad blocker on, it won't allow you to run ads on any ad platform as well as see ads. So if you do have that on, I would recommend disabling that when it's time to run your ads, as well as see ads. For instance, if you're doing competitor research or maybe Facebook ad library, as well as TikTok ad library, you want to disable your ad blocker. So for instance, when it comes to the campaigns, you have the display as well as shopping. So for instance, if you're searching up a specific product, showing up as the specific listings up at the top is where your ad would show up if you were geared towards shopping campaigns. So for instance, if you are offering a product, shopping and search could be the best two options, I would say, when it comes to distributing traffic towards your store as well as performance. So I like to start out with shopping, especially if it's geared towards a product. If it's geared towards a service, maybe I would do a search or discovery. But when it comes to products, I recommend shopping. So when it comes to the Shopify, it says it's not linked, but it's obviously linked right here. It's connected to the Google account, the Google Merchant Center account. It says it's good to go. It says your store meets Google Merchant basic requirements, but when it comes to the selected account, before you go, you need to link your merchant account. And it's also not giving me that option. Okay, so in terms of today's campaign, we'll have to do search, mainly because that shopping tab is bugging for right now. Maybe it's because of the merchant, it just got approved a couple of days ago. Maybe the pixel has to get warm, I would say, to run the shopping account, so it's shopping tab, I would say. So for instance, for search or performance max, let's see. So you have the campaign type. And of course, you have maybe specific keywords or audiences you're looking to target. Let's say WL for weight loss, 18 through 65. So when it comes to your conversion traffic, this would be your pixel in terms of your Google Analytics on your Shopify store. So once you have that set up on your sales channel in terms of the Google sales channel downloaded on your Shopify account, it should give you the option to connect your Google Analytics in order to get the marketing started. So at this moment, of course, when it comes to the biddings, when it comes to conversions is obviously, what we want as, e-commerce entrepreneurs. We have run out of time. Okay. So of course, when it comes to conversions, optimizing for conversions is the main objective. Let's say conversions. You can hit next on that. We can leave this broad. And hit next on this. So when it comes to locations, of course, if you only want to sell in the US, you could do that. Keep it towards US and Canada. I like to do that as well. So for instance, for today, we'll do that. When it comes to language, of course, we don't want anyone, people speaking different languages seeing your ads. It could be a waste of ad spend. So I like to keep it on English. Move this out the way real fast. Okay, so of course, when it comes to the settings, ad schedule, all day. When it comes to the start and end dates, you could have an end date set on your ads if you have a specific time frame you want to test specific products. Let's say, for instance, we have what we call cycles when we test products coming into a new store, identifying which products in the store are the most profitable. So, for instance, we have either 3-day ad cycles as well as 7-day ad cycles. It just depends on how much we are spending per day. So for instance, if we have a budget of $50 per day, we may do 7 days. If we have a budget of $100 per day, we usually see quicker returns or quicker information on whether or not this product could be scalable or not. So we usually do, I would say, 3 days for that. So if you're starting out with a smaller budget, I would say you could gradually see how your ads performing on a day-to-day basis, maybe week-by-week basis, introducing new creatives, introducing new content, as well as switching up the interests. For instance, what you're targeting, potential audiences, as well as what demographics you're looking at selling. So when it comes to your keywords as well as your interests, setting those up once you set up your campaign will allow you to directly dial into interests or audiences who are already interested in what you are selling. So excuse me. End date. Say for a week or a day. Great. So when it comes to assets play the same part as ad groups or assets on Facebook or TikTok. So when it comes to Google, your ad group name, you could specify towards what interests or keywords to look at the target. So for instance, we have this trainer. So waste trainer test one campaign. So it'll be testing whether it's broad or specific interest based off of what you're looking to sell or who you're looking to sell it to. So for instance, final URL. This is the URL you will have set up for your Shopify store. When it comes to your landing page, so you want to send them straight to your landing page in terms of where you want them to buy your product from. So you don't want them at your homepage, about us page, contact page. You want to send them straight to where they could buy the product. So instance, copying that URL, find the URL, post that there. Gotcha. Okay, so when it comes to display ads, you could have image ads based off of what you're selling. Maybe you have photo content of what you're selling. So for instance, we could see. But yes, when it comes to whether it's CTA content, meaning static ads. So static ads are photo ads. Excuse me, static ads are photo ads with maybe CTA promotional logos on it, or I would say promotional writing on it. Whether you have maybe a sale promotional offer going on, you have what's called a static ad. You have a basic photo of what your product entails, as well as maybe 50% off, 45% off, Memorial Day sale, July 4th sale, whatever you have going on at the time. Correlating that with what promotional sales you have on your store. Could direct traffic towards your store, create that scarcity, urgency around your product, the fear of missing out, allowing your customers to see that. You definitely distribute traffic towards your store. So logos, you could add the logo as well. Do I have a logo in the library? Do have a logo that's not on hand. So when it comes to your headlines, of course, this is where you could, spice up the content in terms of distributing traffic towards your store. So headlines, I would say, having big, bold, big, bold text about, what your product offers, what your brand offers, as well as how your product is, convenient for potential customers. So for instance, headlines specify for maybe this product, you only have 30 characters to get what you need to get done. That's not really a lot, but keeping it short and sweet, geared towards distributing traffic towards your store. So I believe you do have to have 3 required headlines for your ad to be live, which is pretty insane. But having your headlines, you're distributing traffic towards your storefront, whether it's improved physique, traffic quarantine body, just overall headlines geared around what your product offers, I would say. So of course you have the descriptions. You only get 60 to 90 characters. You can use this to describe your product as well. So for instance, what we had on the product listing was pretty good. We could use that. While I am filling this out, was any questions on the process of setting up your campaign initially? Questions, got you. that much to work with. I would say that's pretty accurate in terms of, what you see on Google. You really don't see, that much descriptions in terms of, what you would see in terms of geared around products, I would say. So you have a short and sweet, quick 100 characters to explain, what your product is in terms of getting them to click on that link. So
Hey, quick question. You said you dropped the link from the recording from last week?
yeah, it should be in the chat. Can you see it?
I don't see it.
I see it.
I don't see it.
It might be because he got in late.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that is the link. Wait a couple more seconds for everyone to get back in, a couple more heads. All right, wait a couple more seconds for the last couple of heads to get in. Be everyone. Okay. So when it comes to the headlines, the descriptions, filling those out, space of text. Of course, you can use the, ChatGPT is also a good option to come up with headlines, descriptions, product generation, product description generators. I'm not 100% sure if I went over that last class.
Yeah, you did went over ChatGPT.
I did. Okay, gotcha. Sounds good. Yes. So in terms of using ChatGPT as well as the keywords everywhere to come up with those key terms, using those when it comes to your ad sets, when it comes to the ad groups, setting those up, drop the quarantine body, improve your physique. You just want your headlines to have bold statements on what you offer as a brand as well as what your product offers. So for instance, how it's convenient for them, creating imagery and desire into your customer's mind, making that conversion process, smoother, as well as creating less friction on, potential sale. So, as well as, gotcha. Yeah, so as well as having it set up in the SEO, the listings definitely could be useful. So that way it goes hand in hand, when you run your Google ads, there's no fluctuation in terms of, what you offer, what your site says. So for instance, you have your couple headlines, you have descriptions that you would like to add. You only have 90 characters, unfortunately. Business name, set that up. Made it. So call to action, it will usually be, sign up, apply now, learn more when you learn more. That should be good. Should be able to keep that. Prices. You could add a price When it comes to having prices set out for your ads, you could add that price, just giving that customer the what they're looking at what they're getting into once they click your link. That way, I would say it's higher quality traffic. I would say warmer traffic in terms of no understanding what they're getting into, how much it costs, what the product is costing, as well as, for instance, excuse me, more information on what you sell. So pricing, I would say, let's see. Could do that. But of course, when it comes to just starting out, you can leave that broad as well. Yes. So of course, as opposed to TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, when it comes to the audiences, you could create audiences as well on Google, but it would just be based off of past traffic, past data. When it comes to having fresh accounts on Google, you wouldn't have any audience data yet. Your Google Analytics inside of your, see if that real fast, inside of your Shopify store. Yeah, so where it says manage pixel here, Google Analytics, if you can set up your pixel here, get your code in terms of Google, it allows you to track that traffic coming into your store. So of course the campaigns will track that as well, but it's just a little bit extra when it comes to the data, potential audiences you could retarget to. So we don't have any audiences yet, but in terms of the ad sets, so for instance, the budget, when it comes to Google, it's not as expensive as opposed to Facebook or Instagram. When it comes to Google, mainly because it's geared towards search engine optimization as opposed to entertainment. When it comes to Instagram or TikTok, those were exclusively entertainment platforms. So it would be, if you're running ads on that, you would have to get past the friction of this person is here to see quality entertainment, or they're here for laughing purposes. You putting your ad in front of their face, it just interrupt what they have going on. As opposed to Google, people are coming here for information, more information on what they're interested in, for instance your product or key terms related to what you're selling. That way having your keywords integrated into your ads as well as your store, it's beneficial to distribute that traffic. So using Google to distribute that traffic is good avenue, mainly because it's higher quality traffic, I would say. So on people who are already interested in what they're interested in. So your budget, so say $30 a day is pretty decent when it comes to Google ads. Doesn't get too expensive. Excuse me, especially when it comes to testing campaigns, testing phases, analyzing which one of these products on your store has the scalability factor in terms of which one is bringing the most revenue. Have the campaigns lowered, I would say, when it comes to those phases, as you as you identify that, of course. Gotcha. So description. Oh, it's 60. Yeah, so as I was saying, once you're in that scaling phase in terms of you identify that winning product, that's when you could, of course, increase the budget, maybe $100 a day, $150 a day. That's when you are getting consistent revenue coming in, for your product. So I would say if you're getting at least 5 sales a day from your ads, that's when I would recommend, of course, once the payouts come through, reinvesting those profits into maybe, more ad spend, for instance, increasing that budget, directly dial into which ad platform, not excuse me, ad platforms, which ad groups or which audiences are bringing in the most sales. That way you could allocate your funds and energy to better what's performing. So for instance, $30 budget. That's short description. Just did that. Right, so. So why it won't save the way you need to do. Graphics, interest. Usually I wouldn't use one of the descriptions they have set up for you, but at this point, it's not allowing me to save the ones I did have. Change that. We're using 30 minutes. See if that one works.
I think your second one is longer than 60 characters. Well, that's what, we'll see.
I actually added that. Yeah, so it's 30 and 60, and this one says 90. That's why I was confused on that. Should be good now. Gotcha. Let's just say, for instance, of course, adding the interest will, directly dial into, what people are interested in. For instance, cardio, exercise equipment, home fitness, weight loss, anything that people are, searching for information on. So move that out the way real fast. Okay. Fitness. Save that. Save that. Of course, demographics. You can keep that broad. Save. Gotcha. Let's do that. Okay, gotcha. So of course, when it comes to the images, you want to make sure it is in dimensions to what Google offers. Landscape. So we gotta have a landscape image just for example purposes.
You have to have a logo.
Yeah, so I guess they are, switching up how they do on the, excuse me. 1 second. Yeah, I guess how they were switching up how they do it on Google now. Logos a couple months ago wasn't required, as well as the photos. So for instance, if you were just running search ads, it would be, searching in terms of the links. as well as the URL with the descriptions. That's all you needed to run search ads. But in terms of performance max or display ads, yes, you would have to have no photos or maybe a logo. The logo one is new to me. I haven't seen a logo on that one as well. I mean, a logo be required as well. So test store photos. You find this logo real fast for you all. While I am finding this logo, was anyone who had any questions on that process?
It's a long process.
Yes, yes, it is.
It will take 5 to 6 classes to get to know this one. I think it's a long process.
It is a long process, but I would say it's a long process explaining the process. When it comes to setting up your own ads, I wouldn't say it'd be that long, maybe 20, 25 minutes going through setting up the campaign. But of course, the first time it could seem long just based off of all the features inside of the advertising platform, maybe not understanding what's going on. But of course, as you get more experience inside the platform, running ads be like a breeze. Just quick turning on ads campaign here, ad group there, introduce new creatives here, new interests here, new audience to test here. It would just be quickly running through ads, testing new products, new faces, new audiences. It would be a breeze in a couple months, I would say. So of course, those beginning phases we all go through them. Back in 2018, when I first got started, it was. I didn't know what I was doing. Setting up a store, I didn't know what I was doing. An ad platform, I didn't even know what that was. I thought people just magically got their ads onto, in front of your faces, and somehow they just got you to buy. But of course, the consumer knowledge behind it, understanding what's behind ads, a whole marketing team, maybe, especially these big brands, corporations, they spend a lot of money to get their product in front of your faces. Build that lifetime value with specific customers, getting customers to buy in what they offer as a brand. So getting familiar with these platforms, these advertising platforms, definitely beneficial when it comes to distributing that initial traffic towards your store. When it comes to this Google campaign, it is tripping. I'm trying to see if I can find this logo.
So how many apps do you think one should start with? Should one start with all the apps or start with Google, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok? Which one?
Yeah, so for instance, on Google, I recommend having a Google ad campaign in the background just for maybe like $5-10 a day, just bringing in that Google traffic, just getting your product ranked higher on Google. So for instance, let's say maybe $5-10 a day for the next month or so. At the end of 2 months, it may spend like $50 to $100. It would just be, getting that traffic towards your brand, building that presence on Google, giving Google more information around your brand that they could use to, find more potential customers. So of course, with the keywords, with the SEO integrated, all could be, useful avenues to, useful avenues towards getting, customers on your store. But what I would recommend when it comes to, paid marketing, I would recommend focusing on, TikTok at the moment, mainly because it's, the best platform to best platform to advertise on. When it comes to simplicity of it, it's not really that complex. When it comes to the content, it's pretty easy to come up with content that, entails viewers, as well as it's pretty smooth process in terms of what they have, the user interfaces. You can just swipe over, and it takes you straight to the home page or the landing page of whatever link you're looking at, making it making it easier for customers to buy straight off of the app, as well as making it easier for brands to build that social presence around what they're trying to offer as a brand. So
so what you're saying for awareness should be Google, for sales should be TikTok.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So awareness, brand awareness, Google. Yes.
And
for SEO.
Once you start with the awareness first before the sales.
Excuse me. Say that one more time.
Awareness before the sales.
No. So you could, when it comes to the marketing, you could run TikTok continuously, but when it comes to the Google, I like to have those in the background, I would say. So as you can see, one of the Share the screen fast. One of the campaigns that I had in the background of the Google ads, one of the other campaigns, can't do it, can see it now. But it had like 20,000 impressions or like a couple hundred clicks, a couple conversions, 15 conversions, something like that. But it would just be, you know, distributing that traffic towards, you know, your store, having your Google brand higher in the ranks on Google, for instance, maybe
Yes,
reviews.
yes, yes.
Yes, they could all, you know, be
Mm.
lucrative and beneficial
That's
towards
the
as a brand, you know, you
OSP
transition
or
into a brand.
something. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. I've done that to my site already.
Got you. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I cannot find this logo, however. Apologies for that. Second. Let's have to look it up. That it right there. This is it. Okay. So the logo. And it's saying we need the image as well, which might be unfortunate. Do I have a landscape image of this product? I believe none of these are landscape.
Excuse me.
Okay. Yes, I'm just trying to find a quick landscape photo to show for example purposes. Let's see. Should be able to do that. Save that. Well, of course, when it comes to the assets, those are the ad groups you have for this campaign specifically. We have one ad group, but if you were having testing phases or testing campaigns geared towards seeing which one of your ads, or excuse me, which one of your products are the most profitable, you could have multiple ad groups, or you could have different multiple campaigns for each product. But for instance, for this campaign, we have one ad set, one ad, one campaign. But you could also say, for instance, you are introducing more creatives into the market. You have multiple products or multiple videos for one product. You could create different ad groups, duplicate those ad groups, and introduce more creatives or introduce more keywords or interests. That way, you could maybe tap into different demographics for potential customers. But of course, campaign name, website traffic, when you keep that organized, performance max. That's probably why. That's probably why they was asking for the logo as well as the landscape photo for the performance max. So if you had it geared towards search campaigns or shopping, it'll most likely be having your merchant account connected with Shopify, as well as your products approved. So if you were looking to run Google ads, first thing you have to do is, of course, connect that Google sales channel, and you would have to go through the process of having your products approved. So they would approve your products on Google. I say take about 24 to 48 hours, maybe. Usually happens pretty quick. But once your products are approved, it should be able to, it says right here, actually, 35 business days to review products. So of course, once that is approved, you could run those, whether it's shopping campaigns or performance max campaigns. But if in the meantime, before your products are approved, you could run search ads. So of course, as I was explaining earlier, the search ads would be ads showing up for specific searches. So for instance, if you're looking at waist trainers, the first couple links, one that says sponsored, those would be geared towards, search ads. So of course, when it comes to search ads, key terms would be, the most crucial part of the campaign, I would say. So for instance, downloading the keywords everywhere extension, using that, and gearing the search campaign towards whatever key terms are, coming up with the most volume. So for instance, this one's coming up with 14,000, of course, that waist trainer. Let's see. Work, waist trainer. Okay. Gotcha. So of course, there is a free option, just like keywords everywhere that you use. It's called Google Trends. Google Trends also allows you to gauge the search volume of specific terms as well as specific products you're looking to sell. For instance, Google search. For that search term, and it will show the traffic based off of specific key terms, the interest over time, as well as specific key terms related to that. So for instance, comparing that as well could be an option. Waist trainer, it would show you the traffic as well as around the time frame of when it was active. 100. Okay. So it's not that active at the moment in terms of this month. It had its little spurts. But in terms of generally when I have it over the 70, I would say, especially when doing a product research or keyword research, when I have key terms that are generally over the 70 mark, meaning people are actually interested in it, and people are actually displaying search volume interest when it comes to setting up those campaigns. So we do have this campaign active. Was there any questions over that process that we had just went over? This is recorded, by the way. So if you had any recap, you could do that as well. I will be sending a link to your email. So I didn't go through the last time. I sent it to the Slack. But if you all would send your email, I could do that now. Not now, but once the video is rendered. But in the meantime, was there any questions on that process we just set up for the Google Ads?
Okay, so I want to find out if you want to do an ad campaign on Google, on TikTok, should you do your complete store, or you should pick a product and do the ad on it? Which one is safe or cheaper or better?
Yes, so when it comes to TikTok ads, what I recommend is definitely towards one product, mainly because when it comes to traffic, you want to gear that towards, what specifically you are, promoting. So for instance, promoting your whole store could get the customer a little confused on what you offer as a brand, or, in terms of, what product could be, best suited for them. So your job as an advertiser would be to, create content or maybe outsource content to amplify, what specific products on your store you want to sell first. And there's a couple of ways you can analyze, which products on your store are doing the best. I believe I went over this in the last class, but using the Amazon product finder tool on Amazon, as you search up whatever products are on your store, you can use that to gauge Amazon sales, how many units a certain product is moving, how many sales a certain product is getting, where it's ranked in terms of SEO. Just a little bit more information on which products on your store are moving the best, performing the best in the market at the moment. But when it comes to, as you were saying, TikTok, having that content, running the ads on there as well could be useful as well. But it would be, as you were saying, damn, sorry, brain fart. But yes, in terms of Google and the TikTok, as you were saying, could you repeat that question real fast?
Okay, so if you want to do an ad, is it better for you to do your whole store,
Oh,
or
yeah.
you do a particular product both on TikTok and on Google app? Which
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
Take a particular product and do an ad on it, or do the whole store?
Yeah, so of course for the TikTok, it would be, I would gear it towards, one product, whether it's content out for one product, or for instance, if you had TikTok organic, you had your page, you could do multiple products, of course. But if you are running a specific ad for a product, I would gear it towards, behind one product.
Okay.
But for
On the
Google,
Google.
yes, for
Yes.
Google, when it comes to like maybe, as I was speaking on earlier, those brand awareness campaigns for maybe like $5-10, you could do that.
Yes.
You could do that for
The
the whole
whole
store.
store. Okay, all right. Thank you.
But if you are running testing campaigns on Google, I recommend towards one product. So for instance, you look to see, which products on your store are the most profitable. I recommend, doing it for one product.
Okay, for one product, right?
Yes, if you're running, actual testing campaigns for the other store. I mean, for the product, I'll say.
Okay, okay, all right.
We have about 5 more minutes in this class. Are there any more questions we have?
Yeah, you may have mentioned this before. It's not about the ads, but just on my store, what app do you use to put where the customer can track their order?
Yeah. So we either have, let's see. All right, let me sign into the other store. There is a couple apps you could use. Did you end up with the store from the MDM?
Yes, and I forgot to ask them. I mean, I could always email them. They told me if I had a question, just email, Prestige, but I just didn't know if you knew. It's on my store. I just want to know what app I see where they can't click on it. I just want to know what app it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it would be the Tracking More app, or the Tracking.
Oh, Tracking More. Oh, okay. Okay. Tracking. Okay, thanks. Got it.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all for me.
Gotcha. Okay. Yes, so of course, in the next class, I was going to go over, setting up bundles for maybe products you have. So for instance, if you had a niche store or, multiple product store, going over setting up bundles, as well as what we call quantity breaks. So for instance, a quantity break would be allowing customers to, buy multiple variations of your product or multiple products of the same product. So for instance, matter of fact, let me view it's a website. Okay. Yeah, so setting up these. So for instance, get one for a friend and save more, buy one, get 10% off, buy two, get 25% off. This just, gives more incentive to, increase that average order value on your store. Maybe buy multiple for, a discount purchase. For instance, buy two or buy three, get 25% off. That could be, added incentive towards getting more sales on your store, I would say. So I'll be going over this next class as well as setting up bundles for your product. So for instance, shifting together products that could, sell well together, showing how you can do that, as well as setting up bundles towards products that could test well. So for instance, if you have a product that's doing well on ads, you could set up bundles for a product you're looking to test in the future to see how that gauges well with the product you're already doing well with. All right, so any more questions we have before we wrap up this session?
That's it. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. So if we all sent our emails in the chat, we could get that out to you all once the video is done rendering and uploaded to YouTube. The Wi-Fi is kind of slow today. Should be good to go next class. Apologies for that.
It was fine.
Thank you.
Put your email in, Comfort.
Yes.
I'm gonna get those written down.
I put my email. What did you say? Sorry.
What happened?
Huh?
You were trying to say something. I didn't get that. You said I should put my email?
Oh,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
email
yeah.
into the chat.
Okay.
And do that.
Okay.
Okay. We got Max's nice. I'll write these down real fast. Here's my pen. I think I'll take a picture of it. New age media.
All right. See you guys later.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
See you
Bye.
next Thursday.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Have a great night.
You too.